Hi, welcome back, my dear students. On this lecture here, we're gonna finally start creating the jQuery that's gonna allow us to communicate with our local server. All right, I'm gonna take off this Windows here since we don't need it anymore. All right, so now actually let's just open up our best friend here. Well, my best friend because it lets me find everything I like. All right, we're gonna be using something called the .ajax, and you can look it up right here. It's from jQuery. It's going to take you to the jQuery site, and here you can see all the parameters that we can pass to this Ajax. All right, what this is going to do is going to perform a asynchronous HTTP request. All right, it's going to communicate. In other words, it's going to communicate with our server. All right, so we can pass a couple parameters there. As you're welcome to read this documentation here. All right, so if you don't know jQuery, this might look very confusing. Don't worry, I'm going to just show you how to use this. All right, so let's go ahead and start using it. Let's open our co-editor, and now we created this markup here on the last part. So now it's time for us to start creating our jQuery code. All right, so now that we have all this markup here, I'm just gonna tighten things up a little bit. All right here inside the document that ready, let's start jQuery. Right, so we start jQuery with a $, of course, parentheses, and what we want to target here is we need to get the value of this input here. So when people type in here, we'll get some type of value, all right, saved somewhere, and we need to save it into a variable. So we are going to be targeting this input with a class of ID, and this is how we're gonna get this value with this ID. So we're gonna grab it. So we're gonna say jQuery, listen, look for the ID search, all right, name search, and I want you to do something with it. jQuery doesn't know right now what we want it to do, right? So we're gonna say, look, when somebody types in something on that box, I want you to do something. All right, so this something is a function right here that is going to do something for us. All right, so let's put the function down a little bit there. So jQuery is like, what is it that you want me to do? Can you put in between these brackets, please, Edwin? Can you do that? Well, there we go then. All right, so I want you to make a variable called search, and I want you to grab the box search with ID search, right, or element with the ID search, and I want you to say the value of it. There we go. Isn't that beautiful, right? And we can go ahead and test this out and say, you know what, test it out by alerting it. So let's go ahead and do that right now. There we go, save it. There we go, we put an F, and we get the F right here on the alert. See what the key up does? It alerts everything that's on that box. D, there we go. Perfect, all right? So I think that's working really good. What do you think? All right, so now that we know it's working, let's go ahead and continue. Let's just delete that and continue with our code, right? So the next thing is write that object, that element that I was telling you about, Ajax, right? That Ajax, like this, and we're gonna put it down a little bit. There we go then. And then we're gonna use this URL here just to tell it what page we want this request to go to. All right, so we want this request to go to that PHP, because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be sending some data, right, to that page, and we're going to pull it from there. We're going to send that request, and that request is going to come back to us. So let's send it to search.php. That's where we're sending it. We're going to put a comma because we're going to put some other parameters in here, and we're going to say, look, I want you to send this data that is type of what? Well, it's not type yet. We're not there yet. Let's just put data and send it with a key of search all right, and send the variable search with it. That's what we're doing right now. What we're saying is send this keyword. I want you to use that in your post super global or get super global, and then send this variable with it. All right, so that's all we're doing here. And we're going to put a comma, and now we're going to say type. And now here we can put get or post, whatever you want, really doesn't matter. I'm just going to put post. I'm just so used to it. And now we're going to also pass in the success fallback here. Function. I'm going to make a function here real quick. All right, that is perfect. Now let's also pass it a variable here because we're going to need it. And we're going to say something like if not data dot error, then I want you to grab, basically what we're saying here is if you don't have an error here, right, then I want you to do this. So that's what we're going to be doing, making sure that we don't have no errors there. This is just a simple way of doing this. There's a lot of ways of actually validating this, but this is the most simplest way possible. All right, so we're going to grab the search right here, the element with ID search, and we're going to insert, actually not the search one, we're going to grab, we made a empty h2 here where we're going to be placing the data that's going to come back from our server. This is where we're going to be placing it, right here. All right, so that's why this h2 is empty right now. We're grabbing the stuff from here, sending the request to the server, and then when it comes back, it's going to come here. So we need this ID actually, and we are going to be putting it right here. Doesn't that sound good, right? And we're going to be using this HTML just to insert HTML in there, because that's what you do with jQuery, right? So we're going to insert this data that is coming in. All right, so that looks perfect. All right, on the next one we're going to continue this because this lecture is getting kind of long, so I'm just going to go a little slower there. Maybe you can see the whole thing and you can just copy it. Make sure that you have everything there. Now I haven't tested this to just make sure that we don't have any errors there, so but on the next video we're gonna do that. All right, so thank you so much for watching this lecture. It was a pleasure again, and looking forward to see you in the next one. Take care. Have an awesome day.